I'm Clara Bennett, 34, a single mom living in Missoula, Montana. For the past 3 years, I've worked at the Daily Grind, a cozy, family-owned coffee shop tucked between a bookstore and a thrift store on Front Street. The shop smells of roasted beans and cinnamon, with wooden tables that wobble just enough to feel like home. I took the job after my divorce, needing something steady to support my daughter, Lily, who's 8, and loves drawing mermaids on every scrap of paper she finds. The Grind was my lifeline. Flexible hours, decent tips, and a boss, Mr. Hargrove, who treated us like family. But not everyone in that family played fair. When I started, I was drawn to my coworker, Vanessa Reed. She was 40, a lifer at the Grind, with a laugh that filled the room and a knack for remembering every regular's order. "Grande latte, 2 pumps vanilla, no foam," she'd call out to Mr. Peterson before he even reached the counter. Her smile was magnetic, her chatter warm, and I thought, this is someone I could learn from. She'd hug customers, ask about their kids, their vacations, their dogs. I admired her ease, her ability to make people feel seen. But after a few months, I noticed something off. Vanessa's warmth wasn't universal. New customers got a curt nod, a quick pour, maybe a "next" if they lingered too long. Her smile was reserved for the regulars, Mr. Peterson, Mrs. Callahan, the guy with the red beanie who came in every Tuesday. I chalked it up to her knowing them better. I was wrong. Lily's school play was coming up, and I was scraping together every penny for her costume, a sparkly mermaid tail she'd sketched 100 times. Tips at the Grind were our lifeline, split evenly among the staff, per Mr. Hargrove's rule. The tip jar, a chipped ceramic mug with a smiley face, sat by the register, and we'd divvy up the cash at the end of each week. I never questioned it. I trusted the system, trusted my coworkers. Vanessa, with her bright laugh and quick hugs, seemed like the heart of the place. But trust, I learned, can be a fragile thing. One spring morning, Vanessa announced she was taking a week's vacation to visit her sister in Spokane. She said, "Clara, you've got this," tossing me her apron with a wink. I covered her shifts, pulling doubles to keep the shop running. That's when I started noticing the regulars' tips. Mr. Peterson slipped me a 10, Mrs. Callahan a crisp 20. The red beanie guy left a folded 5 with a nod. The tips were generous, more than I'd expected, and I dropped every bill into the jar, like always. But something nagged at me. I'd never seen Vanessa touch the jar, not once. Her hands were always busy, wiping counters, refilling sugar packets, never near that chipped mug. A cold feeling settled in my stomach. Was she playing us? That week, alone behind the counter, I watched the regulars come and go. Their tips piled up in the jar, and I couldn't shake the image of Vanessa's empty hands. On Thursday, during a slow afternoon, I asked Mr. Hargrove if I could check something in the back office. He waved me off, trusting me with the shop's ancient computer and grainy CCTV footage. My heart pounded as I scrolled through the recordings, starting with the previous week. There it was, Vanessa smiling wide as Mr. Peterson handed her a 10. She nodded, thanked him, and slipped the bill into her apron pocket. No jar, no hesitation. I fast-forwarded. Mrs. Callahan, another 20, straight into Vanessa's pocket. The red beanie guy, a 5, same story. My hand shook as I watched, betrayal curling in my chest like smoke. She'd been skimming tips for who knows how long, keeping the best for herself, while the rest of us, me, Jamie, the part-time barista, and even Mr. Hargrove, split whatever was left. I thought of Lily's mermaid costume, the extra shifts I'd taken, the nights I'd stayed up worrying about bills. Vanessa's laugh, her hugs, her "You're doing great, Clara." It all felt like a lie. She wasn't the heart of the Grind. She was a thief, charming her way into extra cash while we played by the rules. I didn't tell Mr. Hargrove right away. I needed proof. something undeniable. I started watching her closer when she returned, noting every interaction. Vanessa was back to her bubbly self, chatting up the regulars, but now I saw the calculation in her eyes. A quick glance to see if anyone was watching, then a bill disappearing into her pocket. I felt foolish for admiring her, for thinking her warmth was real. But I wasn't going to let her keep playing us. I started keeping a log, dates, times, amounts I saw her pocket. By Friday, I had enough to confront her. But confrontation wasn't my style. I wanted justice, not drama. That night, I sat in my tiny apartment, Lily asleep on the couch, her mermaid sketches scattered around her. I stared at my notebook, the list of Vanessa's thefts growing longer. I thought about my own family, my estranged sister Rachel, and my parents who I hadn't spoken to in years. After my divorce, they'd sided with my ex, blaming me for giving up too easily. Rachel had called me selfish, said I wasn't trying hard enough to keep the family together. Their words had cut deep, and I'd walked away, choosing silence over their judgment. Vanessa's betrayal felt like an echo of that pain. Another person I trusted using me for their own gain. But this time, I wasn't staying quiet. The next morning, I went to Mr. Hargrove. He was in the back, counting inventory, his glasses perched on his nose. "Clara, what's on your mind?" he asked, sensing my hesitation. I laid it all out. The CCTV footage, my log, the tips Vanessa was pocketing. His face fell, the lines around his eyes deepening. "Vanessa's been with me for years," he said, voice heavy. "But if this is true, it's not just stealing from us. It's stealing from the trust we've built here." He agreed to review the footage himself and asked me to keep quiet until he decided what to do. I nodded, but inside I was burning. I wanted Vanessa to face what she had done, to feel the weight of her choices. That week, I kept working, smiling through my shifts, but every time Vanessa laughed with a regular, it grated on me. I thought about my family again, how I'd spent years trying to earn their approval only to be pushed away. Rachel's last email 3 years ago had accused me of abandoning them. "You only care about yourself," she had written. I hadn't responded, but the words still stung. Vanessa's act reminded me of Rachel's charm, warm when it suited her, cold when it didn't. I wondered if reconciliation was even possible with people who only saw you when you were useful. By Friday, Mr. Hargrove called me into his office. He'd watched the footage, confirmed every detail. "I'm letting her go," he said, his voice firm but sad. "But I want you to handle the confrontation. Clara, you caught her. You deserve to see this through." My stomach twisted. Confronting Vanessa meant risking the cozy world of the grind, but it also meant standing up for myself, something I hadn't done with my family. I agreed, my resolve hardening. I wasn't just fighting for the tips. I was fighting for the version of me who'd been invisible too long. That evening, I waited until the shop closed. Vanessa was wiping down the counter, humming to herself. "Hey, Vanessa," I said, my voice steady. "We need to talk." She looked up, her smile faltering. I didn't give her a chance to charm her way out of it. I showed her the log, described the footage, and watched her face go pale. "Clara, you've got it wrong," she started, but I cut her off. "I saw you pocket the tips. Every time. You played us all." Her eyes darted to the door, then back to me. For the first time, Vanessa Reed had no words. Vanessa didn't deny it. She couldn't. The evidence was ironclad. Dates, times, amounts, all backed by grainy footage of her slipping bills into her apron. "I needed the money," she finally said, her voice small. "You don't understand how hard it's been." I wanted to laugh. Hard? I was raising Lily alone, juggling rent and school fees on a barista pay. But I didn't argue. I just stared at her, letting her words hang in the air. Mr. Hargrove stepped in, his face stern. "You're done here, Vanessa. Clean out your locker." She left without a fight, her head down, no trace of the bubbly woman I'd once admired.
The shop felt different after that. Quieter, but not in a bad way. Jamie, the part-time barista, hugged me when she heard. "You did the right thing," she said. Mr. Hargrove raised my pay, a small thank you for my honesty. The regulars noticed Vanessa's absence, asking where she'd gone, but I kept it vague. She moved on, I'd say, and they'd nod, trusting me. The tip jar started filling up again, split fairly among us. For the first time, I felt seen at the grind, not just as a worker, but as someone who'd stood up for what was right. At home, Lily's mermaid costume was coming together, thanks to the extra tips. She twirled in the living room, her sketches pinned to the fridge. But Vanessa's betrayal kept me awake at night, stirring old wounds. I thought about Rachel, my parents, the family I'd lost. Their rejection had left me raw, but I'd built a life without them. Still, I wondered, could we ever find our way back? I pushed the thought aside, focusing on Lily, on work, on the life I was carving out. But the past has a way of creeping back in. One evening, as I locked up the shop, my phone buzzed. An email from Rachel. No subject, just her name in my inbox. My heart skipped. I hadn't heard from her in years, not since her last message calling me selfish. I opened it, expecting another accusation. Instead, it was short, hesitant. "Clara, I miss you. Can we talk? I know I was wrong." I stared at the screen, my coffee cooling on the counter. Part of me wanted to delete it to protect the peace I'd found, but another part, the part that remembered Rachel's laugh, our late-night talks as kids, wondered if reconciliation was possible. I didn't reply. Not yet. Rachel's email stayed with me, a quiet hum in the back of my mind. I didn't know how to respond or if I even wanted to. The grind kept me busy. Morning rushes, steaming milk, the clink of coins in the tip jar. But every quiet moment brought her words back. I know I was wrong. Was she? Or was this another manipulation, like Vanessa's fake smiles? I'd learned to spot charm that hid an agenda, and I wasn't ready to trust again. Lily's school play was a week away, and I threw myself into finishing her costume. I sewed sequins late at night, my fingers aching, but her smile made it worth it. One evening, as we painted her cardboard seashell props, she asked, "Mom, do you have a sister?" I froze. I hadn't talked about Rachel in years. "Yeah," I said softly, "but we don't talk much anymore." Lily tilted her head. "Why not?" I didn't have an easy answer. Sometimes families fight, but maybe one day we'll figure it out. Her big eyes helped mine, and I wondered if I believed my own words. At the shop, Mr. Hargrove called me into his office. "Clara, you've been carrying this place since Vanessa left. I'm making you manager." The promotion came with a raise, enough to ease the constant worry about bills. I thanked him, my chest swelling with pride. For once, someone saw my worth without me begging for it. But the high didn't last. That night, another email from Rachel arrived. "I'm in Missoula this weekend. Can I see you? Just coffee, please." My stomach twisted. Coffee sounded harmless, but nothing with Rachel was ever simple. I showed the email to Jamie over lunch. She stirred her soup, thoughtful. "What if she's genuine? You'll never know unless you hear her out." I wanted to argue, to say Rachel didn't deserve a chance after siding with my ex, after calling me selfish. But Jamie's words echoed Lily's question. Why not? I typed a reply, short and guarded. Saturday, 2 p.m. The grind. Don't be late. I hit send before I could change my mind. Saturday came too fast. The grind was quiet, the lunch rush fading into a soft hum of chatter. I wiped the counter for the third time, my hands restless. Vanessa walked in at 1:58, her coat dusted with snow. She looked older, lines around her eyes, her hair shorter, but her smile was the same, hesitant but warm. "Clara," she said, her voice catching. I nodded, gesturing to a corner table. "Coffee?" I asked, keeping my tone neutral. She nodded, and I poured 2 mugs, my hands steady despite the storm in my chest. We sat, the silence heavy. "I'm sorry," she said finally, "for everything, for taking his side, for what I said. I was wrong." Her eyes were wet, but I didn't soften. "You called me selfish. You said I broke the family." She winced. "I was angry. I thought you were running away from us, but I see now you were protecting yourself." I sipped my coffee, letting her words settle. "Why now, Rachel? After 3 years?" She looked down. "I got divorced last year. It made me see things differently. I realized how much I lost when I pushed you away." I wanted to believe her, but Vanessa's betrayal was still fresh. "How do I know this isn't just you needing something?" I asked. Her face fell, but she didn't look away. "You don't," she said, "but I'm here to try, not to take." We talked for an hour about her divorce, my life with Lily, the pain we'd both carried. It wasn't a full reconciliation, not yet, but it was a start. When she left, she hugged me, and I let her. For the first time, I felt a crack in the wall between us. Rachel's visit lingered, like the scent of coffee grounds after a shift. I didn't trust her fully, but I couldn't deny the pull to rebuild something with her. Lily's play was the next day, and I invited Rachel on a whim. She showed up, sitting in the back, clapping louder than anyone when Lily took her bow as the mermaid princess. Afterwards, she gave Lily a sketchbook, saying, "Your mom says you're an artist." Lily beamed, and I felt something soften in me. Maybe Rachel was trying. At the grind, my new role as manager kept me grounded. I trained a new barista, updated the menu, and even started a loyalty program for regulars. The tip jar stayed full, and the staff split it fairly. No secrets. Mr. Hargrove pulled me aside one day. "Clara, you've been carrying this place since Vanessa left. I'm making you manager." The promotion came with a raise, enough to ease the constant worry about bills. I thanked him, my chest swelling with pride. For once, someone saw my worth without me begging for it. But the high didn't last. That night, another email from Rachel arrived. "I'm in Missoula this weekend. Can I see you? Just coffee, please." My stomach twisted. Coffee sounded harmless, but nothing with Rachel was ever simple. I showed the email to Jamie over lunch. She stirred her soup, thoughtful. What if she's genuine? You'll never know unless you hear her out. I wanted to argue, to say Rachel didn't deserve a chance after siding with my ex, after calling me selfish, but Jamie's words echoed Lily's question. Why not? I typed a reply, short and guarded. Saturday, 2 p.m., the grind. Don't be late. I hit send before I could change my mind. Saturday came too fast. The grind was quiet, the lunch rush fading into a soft hum of chatter. I wiped the counter for the third time, my hands restless. Vanessa walked in at 1:58, her coat dusted with snow. She looked older, lines around her eyes, her hair shorter, but her smile was the same, hesitant but warm. "Clara," she said, her voice catching. I nodded, gesturing to a corner table. Coffee? I asked, keeping my tone neutral. She nodded, and I poured 2 mugs, my hand steady despite the storm in my chest. We sat, the silence heavy. I'm sorry, she said finally, for everything, for picking a side, for what I said. I was wrong. Her eyes were wet, but I didn't soften. You called me selfish. You said I broke the family. She winced. I was angry. I thought you were running away from us, but I see now you were protecting yourself. I sipped my coffee, letting her words settle. Why now, Rachel? After 3 years. She looked down. I got divorced last year. It made me see things differently. I realized how much I lost when I pushed you away. I wanted to believe her, but Vanessa's betrayal was still fresh. How do I know this isn't just you needing something? I asked. Her face fell, but she didn't look away.